Good afternoon. I am Sherry Ann Celestine, a student at the University of the West Indies. Today, I am presenting my action research proposal for school improvement. You will be witnessing action research using the PLC or Professional Learning Community. Here I have with me all members of my professional learning community, and as you can see, the PLC is a type of collaborative action research. What is action research? According to Ference 2000, action research as a process in which participants examine their own educational practice systematically and carefully using the techniques of research. Sago in 1992 defined the collaborative action research as a process that enables teachers to improve the teaching learning process while also contributing to the development of their own profession. While Kramer and Schill urged school staff to implement professional learning community practices to help students of all skill levels meet academic expectations. Therefore, the PLC was the ideal choice to pursue this action research. During the brainstorming phase of the PLC, there were many issues expressed as their opinions of the reasons for school underperformance. As a coach, they were all grouped into certain categories, thereby limiting but not eliminating all possible solutions. They were a recruitment of quality teachers, parental involvement, setting high expectations, school climate, as well as parents' inferiority feelings. As Henderson and Burler 1994 postulates, the most accurate predictor of a student's achievement in school is not income or social status, but the extent to which that student's family is able to, one, create a home environment that encourages learning, two, express high but not unrealistic expectations for their children's achievement and future careers, or three, become involved in their children's education at school and in the community. Our problem now became, how could we as a professional group engage families in their children's learning? How are we going to achieve family engagement through building trusting relationships, creating partnerships, and improving communications, which we know should advance students' learning and school performance? Therefore, we had to devise the right questions in this action research. The research questions guiding this action research would be three of them. What are challenges envisaged for improving student performance through parent-teacher partnerships? How can we overcome any difficulties encountered in the implementation of parent-teacher partnerships? And lastly, what would be the success criteria for parent-teacher partnership initiatives for school improvement? It is imperative that we always have success indicators, and that's the reason for the success criteria. We have to know where we are going in order to know when we get there. There is a difference between parental involvement and parental engagement as researched by our PLC. in that the school agency, when its responsibility is diminishing, that in that way we will have more engagement. As you can see from the Harris and Goodall 2007, there is a continuum in that parents' evening. If you have the parents-led discussion of teaching and learning, the school agency has diminished. Whereas if you have parents passive recipients of information, you have the school agency at its highest. And that means that you have parental involvement with schools. They use the continuum to look at parental involvement with schools as opposed to parental involvement with schooling, as opposed to parental engagement with children's learning. And we can see at the level of parental engagement with children's learning, you have parents' evening led by the parents, reading with children, not in school. And you have parental interventions where parents devise and lead. So we distinguished in our PSC a difference between parental involvement and parental engagement. However, it is wise to note that Epstein even went further to discuss family, school, and community partnerships. So even though we have literature and parental involvement is being used interchangeably, there's some distinction that we should bear in mind. As mentioned previously, Joyce Epstein has 6 types of parental involvement. This framework was used, like with many others, as a model for our parental engagement. The 6 types are parenting, communicating, volunteering, learning at home, decision making, collaborating with community. Our PSC decided to focus on parenting and using partnering with parents as our first step in promoting parental engagement. By forming these partnerships between parents and teachers, it is expected that you will see an improvement in student attendance, student engagement, and hence student achievement. Salinas, Epstein, and Sanders devised an instrument entitled Measure of School, Family, and Community Partnerships, usually referred to as a 9-tree measure of partnerships. This instrument was used for the PLC to assess what was the level of involvement of parents at the school. Of course, you have to know where you are at. You have to know where you are starting from. So this measure was done with type 1 parenting, and each member had to score themselves from a range of 7 to a maximum of 35. On the next slide, you will see the average. Sad to say, 5 out of 7 participants scored less than half. And the sad thing is no one scored more than 20. Therefore, it shows that at this school, there's a lot of parenting involvement to have. Given our context of high poverty, we had to expand the research, looking for all innovations and applications of the parental involvement framework. And we found Murphy and Thorpe 2016, who advocated for the fundamental building blocks of the support communities of engagement. In this model, they actually looked at care and respect, trust, authentic membership, collective work, and shared vision, so that they were still trying to reach out or trying to form partnerships with parents to engage students so that we can have improved student achievement. This question guided us in our action research. Given our school context, which innovation and application of the parental involvement framework would be most applicable for successful implementation? Given the study context that we have, a theory of action was developed with that in mind. And in our component of action, the first point we made was unwelcoming environment. In this welcoming environment, we would like to transform a space within the school that is inviting. This space would be used as a parents' resource room whereby parents can come and access services, get assistance for accessing any service that they would require or any information. In the parents' resource room, it is a space that will welcome our parents to feel comfortable and engage with teachers. With the immediate intermediate outcomes, we will have improved parent-teachers collaboration, and hopefully the final outcome will be family engagement in the school. A second component of action, staff development on parent involvement practices. We know that there are times when parents would feel unwelcome for what reason. It may have had traumatic experience as a child. However, with this particular component of action, we are actually training teachers into communicating effectively with parents. So they are acquiring skills to promote positive homeschool connection. That way we would have teacher and parent making partnerships, and we would have gotten some family involvement, engagement there. Our third component, and I paid particular attention to this, is building trusting relationships between parents and teachers. Communicating respectfully with parents will be part of the training for the teachers, and it is our action mechanism for that building trust. We need trusting relationships in order to move forward. Educators would become more culturally responsive in terms of understanding the needs of the community, which we heard earlier. And the final outcome would be improved homeschool connection. And finally, in our fourth component of action, we look at connections to students' learning, which is actually learning at home. And the action mechanism here is engaging families to support the students' learning at home. The teachers are assisting by giving advice, giving strategies, so that the parents will know how to assist their child at home. The intermediate outcomes would be student engagement. With this extra learning at home, they are going to transfer the knowledge to school. And in the end, we would have student achievement. In this community of engagement for parents, we have elements such as care, respect, trust, shared vision, authentic membership, and collective work. The intermediate outcomes, which are most important in this model, would be the parents' efficacy and capacity, as well as the teachers' capacity. When we refer to capacity, they mean the ability for parents and teachers to work and learn with each other, as well as help children learn and grow. Parent efficacy refers to a parent's belief that they can effect change. And with these intermediate outcomes acting as engagement, we will have the end outcome of student achievement and student engagement. Thus, this model could be, as I said, work in tandem with the third aspect of the parenting in the theory of action proposed earlier, whereby we're looking at building trust. And that is why I pointed to building trust, with the care and respect and trust are all elements of the Murphy and Torrey model of community of engagement for families. Let me reiterate Torrey and Murphy. Only after mutual, respectful, and caring relationship is established can all stakeholders become authentic contributors and members to a community of parental engagement. Respect, building trust in relationship is an important part of parental engagement. In this action research, the data collection tools that we are using would be interviews, semi-structured interviews, focus groups, as well as student attendance records, student report cards. We are going to monitor closely a link between the Family Engagement Action Plan is a tool that has been proposed and used by the Minnesota Department of Education. In this, we are expected that this instrument will not just assist us in moving forward and engaging with our families, but it will move the school beyond the status quo of parental involvement. As was mentioned before, the FEAP will move us beyond the status quo, and we have to figure out who's driving. Step one is looking at building collaborative leadership, whereby this team would be responsible for taking us where we go. It will not or does not have to be the principal, but the principal will have oversight, of course, of this FEAP team. In step 2A, we are assessing our needs and setting priorities. So we are establishing where are we. As we said earlier, moving forward, we have to know from where we are. So at this particular step, we are actually finding baseline data to know where we are starting from. In step 2B, we are establishing goals. Where do we want to go? How will we know we are there? And in this particular step, we are actually establishing the mission, the vision. We are looking at objectives. All these will be our goals in the FEAP step 2B. At step 3, we are looking at selecting strategies and creating an action plan. Therefore, we will be having an inventory of resources that are necessary to ensure that we have a family engagement action plan that is ready and waiting to be implemented. As we hit the road in step 4, is everyone aboard? Are we going to hit a roadblock? This part of the FEAP plan is actually involving the monitoring. The monitoring would be part of the team effort with the principal's oversight. Therefore, we are all going to monitor how many parents have been engaged. Is there an increase in the number? Is there a difference in the perception of the teachers and parents at this particular part of the engagement? At the fifth and final step, we are looking at reassessing needs, priorities, and strategies. How did it go? What went well and what didn't? What's next? In this stage, we are evaluating, we are making a value judgment at how best this FEAP was implemented. Therefore, we would know how and what and why we have tweaked and adapted and changed some of the strategies to suit our context. So the FEAP is actually putting together a team whereby the team is responsible for family engagement. And it is this team sharing the leadership with the principal that will be responsible for resources, will be responsible for monitoring, will be responsible for implementing and ensuring that the parent involvement at this school will be one that will be a force to reckon with. Partnering with parents will bring with it many positive for the school community. We will have to engage stakeholders and therefore we will be getting resources to ensure that our parental plan is put in place. Our teachers will have high capacity, parents will have high efficacy, all leading to student engagement and student achievement. Partnering with parents is the first step in improving the student performance at our school. Therefore, I thank you and await any questions you have concerning the action research proposal using the PLC. Thank you.